The Brothers of Roscoe, C. Cartwright Lodge, number 129, reminding Prince Hall Masons of their duties and responsibilities, not as obligations forced upon them, but as commitments they accepted of their own free will and accord. Tonight, we revisit these responsibilities not merely as a set of ideals, but as a challenge to live our Masonry in ways that transform ourselves, our lodges, and our world. At its core, our Prince Hall Masonic responsibilities can be summed up in one word: practice. It is not enough to memorize ritual, wear an apron, or pay dues. A Prince Hall Mason's duty is to practice what he has sworn before the altar of Freemasonry, to live Masonry in his everyday life. Our responsibility to the Lodge. Prince Hall Freemasonry at Roscoe C. Cartwright. Lodge number 129 is more than an organization. It is a brotherhood that demands participation and commitment. Yet, how many men receive the 3 degrees and then vanish from Lodge life? Forgetting the Lodge that gave you Masonic birth is like a son who forgets his mother. Imagine if no one attended Lodge meetings any more than you do. If no one took an active part. If no one showed interest. Would your Lodge still exist? Prince Hall Freemasonry is not a spectator sport. The Roscoe C. Cartwright Lodge 129 is not sustained by the hands of a few, while the majority watch in silence. It is upheld by every brother who contributes, who shows up, who takes part, who ensures that our lodge does not become an empty shell of what it once was. In the entered apprentice degree, we are told, your frequent appearance at our regular meetings is earnestly solicited, yet it is not meant that Masonry should interfere with your necessary vocations. Some take this as permission to neglect their lodge entirely, allowing anything and everything to interfere with their Masonic duties. But brethren, our commitment to Freemasonry should not be one of convenience, but one of priority. If we wish for Prince Hall Freemasonry to thrive, we must ensure that we are not just members, but Masons in both word and deed. Our responsibility to our country. In the state, you are to be a quiet and peaceful subject, true to your government and just to your country. You are not to countenance disloyalty or rebellion, but patiently submit to legal authority and conform with cheerfulness to the government of the country in which you live. These words, spoken in our very first degree, remind us that citizenship is a Masonic duty. We live in a country that grants us unparalleled freedoms, yet those freedoms are not self-sustaining. They require vigilance. They require action. We must not let our liberty slip away through complacency or neglect. The liberty we enjoy today was earned by those before us, and it must be preserved by those of us here now. Daniel Webster once said, God grants liberty to those who love it and are always ready to defend it. Are we ready? Do we take our civic duty seriously? Do we vote, speak out, and uphold justice when called to do so? Or do we assume that someone else will take care of it? Freemasonry calls us to be defenders of freedom, protectors of justice, and voices of reason in our society. If we fail to uphold these duties, we fail not only our country, but the very principles upon which Freemasonry was founded. Our responsibility to God. In the entered apprentice degree, we are charged with 3 duties. To God, in never mentioning his name, but with reverence, and to implore his aid in all our undertakings. To our neighbor, in acting upon the square. To ourselves, in avoiding all irregularity and intemperance. Our responsibility to our fellow man, to your neighbor, in acting upon the square, and doing unto him as you wish he should do unto you. Freemasonry does not teach charity. It demands it. Not merely charity in the form of financial aid, but charity of spirit. A kind word when someone is struggling. A helping hand when others turn away. A commitment to justice, fairness, and brotherly love. A Mason should never ask, what can Freemasonry do for me? He should ask, what can I do for my lodge, my brethren, and my community? The worth of a man is not measured by what he gains, but by what he gives. Our responsibility to ourselves, to yourself in avoiding all irregularity and intemperance, which may impair your faculties or debase the dignity of your profession. Brethren, self-improvement is a Prince Hall Masonic duty. We are called to build ourselves, to take the life given to us and make the most of it. There is an old story of a man who asked God, how do I change the world? God replied, build a better you. We must ask ourselves, am I growing in wisdom? Am I refining my character? Am I making the most of the time given to me? Each of us must become the master of our own lodge, the lodge of the soul. Conclusion: living the craft. Brethren, Masonry is not a set of words, nor is it an institution to be preserved merely for its own sake. It is a way of life. It is practiced in the lodge, but it is lived outside of it. It is taught in ritual, but it is proven in action. It is proclaimed in speeches, but it is upheld in the silent moments when no one is watching. A Mason is not measured by his titles, his regalia, or his attendance at meetings. He is measured by his faith, his integrity, his charity, and his daily practice of the principles he swore to uphold. Freemasonry is not an institution, it is an idea. And if that idea is to survive, we must live it. Let us not merely recite our Masonic obligations. Let us fulfill them. Let us not simply wear the square and compasses. Let us be worthy of them. And let us always remember, the world is watching. What will they see in us? Thank you, brethren.